So creatives avoid this conversation like the plague. The pricing conversation. How do I go from X rates to X rates with a client that is already existing? How do I tell somebody that their price is going up? It is one of the most awkward things if you do not know how to do it well. And there's been plenty of times in my career, probably plenty of times in your career, where it just feels very awkward. Actually, I don't know if it ever doesn't feel awkward, but it gets a lot better when you actually have a plan to have the conversation. So, guys, welcome to today's show. Today, we are talking about having the price raising conversation. How do you actually raise your prices, either without losing the clients or doing it in a way where maybe you are losing the clients, but in a good way. And we're going to explain that in this podcast. So,
exactly.
If you're new here, my name is Joey.
And I'm Christy.
And we founded Creative Rise back in 2018 to help creatives just like you, photographers, filmmakers, social media managers, learn how to get paid to do what they love by focusing on the business side of the business. And pricing is a huge part of the business side of the business. So why do creatives avoid the pricing conversation? Raising the pricing conversation. It's like a plague. People are like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to have it. And they go months and months and months, sometimes years. We run into creatives all the time that come into Creative Rise, the mastermind. They listen to the podcast and DM us. We meet them somewhere and they say, dude, I'm so cheap on this. I know I've needed to raise my prices. It's so awkward. I haven't done it.
It's like the little version of us when we first started our business comes out where we just go, is anyone going to think this is worth it? And I think that we always come to that. Every phase in business, you're going to feel that way. And so getting comfortable with this conversation, again, it's not going to maybe feel awkward to you, but at least getting confident and comfortable is the goal because you will continually have to have this type of conversation all throughout your business.
It doesn't, like a lot of people,
it doesn't go away.
A lot of people think, it's just in the beginning when you start because you typically get clients on for cheap.
Yeah.
And then as you get better, you raise your rates, but then you log in at your rates and you're like, sweet, I'm good. I don't need to have price raising conversations anymore.
Like I'm sure, Joey,
that's not true.
I'm sure you felt this way when you probably first started and you're trying to sell something for $500 versus now when you've locked in some like pretty big deals in the last year that have been more like $20,000 deals. It's probably a similar feeling, right? Like when you're thinking about price raise.
Yeah. I had actually had a discovery call today with an existing client who wants to bring us on to do even more work for them. And I had to have a pricing conversation with them today saying, hey, so the last time I quoted you on this project you're now inquiring about, it was kind of bundled and wrapped up in a bunch of stuff. And we haven't done any work for 4 months. So we're rediscovering what this project would look like. And we're going to have to totally bill you a new scope. And it's going to be more expensive. This, no matter how long you're in business for, this pricing conversation, the price raising conversation does not go away.
Yeah.
You had this conversation with one of your big retainer clients a couple months ago.
Exactly.
Same thing, right?
And we're going to literally dive into exactly how we had those conversations. But I just want to start off with it will always feel maybe uncomfortable for you or maybe it's like scary, but you can become more comfortable and more confident with it where the gap in the amount of time from feeling uncomfortable like shortens a lot. Like Joey, you were able to like have that conversation in a day, not freak out too much about it and just be able to move on with your life. And so you'll be able to do you'll be able to do the same thing. And when you bring confidence and you bring that confidence to the client conversation, they will feel that confidence and feel confident as well. So the more you know, the more you can have confidence around it. So, but we want to talk about some mistakes that creatives make, mistakes we've made in our creative businesses when it comes to raising prices. And I think the first one is that creatives wait way too long. They wait way too long to rip off the Band-Aid of needing to raise their prices to the point where they get burnt out, they get frustrated, and they just get in like this mode of like, I just can't do this anymore, right? And that's a bad place to be in. So don't let yourself wait too long on making this type of conversation. Don't think that you have to wait for X amount of years of experience doing something or this amount of time with a client, or you have to wait for the new year to raise your prices. You don't have to do that. You can raise your prices at any time. So our plea to you is that in the first mistake is that creatives wait way too long to raise their prices.
Which is important. The second mistake we see creatives make when they are raising their prices to clients that are pre-existing is they'll just surprise them out of the blue. Hey, just sent you an invoice. By the way, the price went up. And it's a reflection of the new camera gear I have or something. And it totally catches their clients off guard. It surprises them. And because of that, you lose trust.
Yeah.
You lose trust with your clients if you do not walk them through a proper process in order to do this in a way that yields trust and continues to make the relationship better.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. You don't want to catch your clients off guard and surprise them.
Definitely don't want to do that. And the third one is kind of the opposite of that one is instead of going in bullish and being like, well, this just is what the price is the price, you come in really apologetic. you come in and you're kind of like timid about it and you're scared to tell them and you're like, hey, so I'm thinking about raising my price. I'm so sorry. I know you were probably already stretched thin, and you don't sound confident and you don't come into it with just, confidence around this. So don't come in apologetic. This is something that is normal in business. And so they should know that, and you should know that, so you can move forward confidently.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to sound apologetic. That's not good. And the last one that we often see creatives make, and I've actually made this mistake 2 years ago, it's where you ask for permission. Hey, we're raising our prices. Is this okay with you? Is it? And you wait for them to tell you, and they're like, no.
Like, this is not actually.
No, it's not okay. We don't want to pay more money. Like when you invite a client to give you feedback on you raising the prices, whether that's a good idea or not.
That's not going to work
they
out
are
too
now
well.
in control of your business, and you are not.
Yes.
You do not want to invite somebody to actually contribute to whether you need to raise your prices or not if they're a client of yours, because that's just inviting rejection. So if you are trying to raise your rates, you do not want to do those 4 things. You do not want to wait too long. You don't want to surprise clients. You do not want to sound apologetic and say, hey, so sorry. I'm so sorry. Our prices are going up. And last, you just don't want to invite them to reject you by asking them permission to actually raise your rates. We are now going to be talking about how to actually do it properly, which is really important. But before we do that, let's actually talk about our process and mindset on pricing, because I think it's important.
This is
because
probably
we're talking
the
about
most important.
raising prices. Well, how do you even set prices in the first place? That's a huge conversation. That's a whole other conversation. We've got lots of other podcasts on that.
Yeah.
We've actually got a pricing calculator, creativerise.com/pricing calculator. If you want a free pricing calculator, go there. But what is our theory here at Creative Rise on pricing? And this goes for the wedding industry, which you are in. Mm-hmm. This goes for the brand industry, photo and video, which I am in, which you are also in. This also goes for the strategy industry, the consulting industry, which I am in, the brand strategy industry. We do a lot of big brand projects. So across all industries that we work in, this is the theory in which we see pricing, and this is the theory we encourage everybody to rock with their pricing. And
and the reason the theory is so important is because if you're sitting there going, I want to raise my prices, but it feels like I'm not worth it, or I'm not giving them more hours, or I'm not doing these things, I feel like I can't raise the prices. It's because your pricing is based on those things. And it's not actually, in our opinion, the best way to price. The best way to price is not for your hours. It's for the results you're giving your client. Mm-hmm. So that means if you want to actually work less hours for your client, but get paid more, if you're based on only charging hourly, that's going to be a really hard price raise to swing.
It's a hard conversation.
Hey, pay more for less hours. But if you're based off of your value of the results you're giving them, you're going to be able to go, hey, for even less hours, we can get this done, right? And that then substitutes why you should be getting a price raise. So we're not charging for our hours. We're also not charging for our worth. This like mystical, like, well, what am I worth? What is my art worth? We're not talking about that. We're talking about the value, the outcome that a client has when they work with you. What is the either tangible or something, what's the tangible outcome that they get with your service, and you are charging for that type of result. So again,
and
that's
very, and the reason for that, it's very different, guys. I'll give you a very clean cut example. Your worth, quote unquote, is worth different to different clients. That's why it's so important to not charge for your worth, but charge for the value of the outputs you are creating, the value of the solutions you're creating. I had a conversation today with a company that is on its way to hopefully becoming a $1 billion company. It's a startup right now. We worked with them earlier this year. They're awesome. And they're needing some design help right now. And the design help that they are needing is very important because they need help structuring the design process, the design playground that their whole development team, that their actual like software, their whole coding team, their development team is going to be playing in. So they're going, we are building things so fast right now. We need help right now because we do not want to get too far down the road and keep making mistakes or doing things out of order. And then eventually we get to this place where we just have a little bit of a mess. Our whole ecosystem from a tech perspective and design perspective is going to be messed up. We need design help, okay? That is a solution worth to them right there, a consulting and design solution that is going to be worth $15, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, depending on how big of a problem that is and how much more discovery we can figure out and really try and figure out how to help them with that. On the other side, a company coming to me saying, hey, we need you to help us build a little bit of a brand book, brand guide, and help us with like, build us some icons. And we're a new startup and we're selling ice cream. Like that might only be worth like $500 to them, right? So this is why you don't charge for what you're worth. You charge for the value of the solution because it's kind of the same solution But the same solution aimed in different directions can be totally worth different things, which is really important. That's why the value of water on an airplane is more expensive than the value of water at a grocery store, right? Like it's just different because it's aimed and placed in a different place. So your skill, your value, the way that you help clients achieve things, whether it's in the wedding space or in the brand space, the commercial space, where you place that value is what determines the price of it, not how much time you're putting into that value, not how long you've been doing it for, not what type of camera you shoot on, right? None of that stuff contributes to what actually should be the price.
Exactly.
The price is delivered on the value you're delivering, nothing else. So that is our theory. Just to give you guys a quick rundown on pricing theory. We believe that wholeheartedly. Christy's been in the business for 9-10 years now. I'm on year 11. And we have been rocking with this for a long time because we have made the mistakes of pricing for our time early on. And it's much more difficult.
Yes.
And it really does cap you in what you're able to make.
And if you're wondering, when should I raise my prices? Like, when should I be allowed to raise my prices? Should I do it all the time? Should I just every single time I have clients try to keep upping them like every single month?
Is it something you do every quarter?
Yeah.
Is it something you do annually?
Exactly. Raising your prices has nothing to do with the calendar. It has nothing to do with you should be doing it at all times. We actually believe there's only 3 times that you should ever raise your prices as a creative. And the first one is if you are adding value. So if you're adding value to your packages, you're adding value to maybe your team. Maybe you hired on a social media manager and they're going to be able to start managing socials rather than you just creating content for it. Or if you are adding a bunch of value into your wedding packages or things like that.
You got way better at a skill.
Exactly.
Like way better. And you just jumped from down here to down here. And the reason for that is because you're now able to give a client a better outcome.
A better result.
That is more value, right? You can charge more for that.
Exactly. So that is one. The second one is if inflation happens, right? That is a very normal thing for business owners, especially to really understand, is that things get more expensive. I recently had to have a conversation with a client about how we needed to raise the expense budget because of the raising cost of our world. To be able to continue the quality in which I was providing, we needed to have more margin in that. And then the last one is if your demand is up. So if you're not adding value, inflation hasn't really affected your business, but you just are getting more and more clients and you don't have time to service all of these clients that are coming through your door, you need to raise your prices to filter out through some clients and to be able to continue to grow your business. So if you're not adding value, if it's not inflation, or if your demand is not up, then you should probably not be raising your prices at all. So those are the 3 things. So that's really, really helpful. But now let's jump into, how do you actually have this conversation? What are the 5 steps for raising your prices with a client where you can actually leave the conversation where you guys both feel good? Okay, so the very first thing, step number 1 in raising your prices with a client in a conversation is just start with gratitude. Just start with the fact that they wanted to work with you in the first place, whether it was for $200 or $20,000, you always want to start with gratitude. Someone taking a chance on working with you is something to be thanked for. I think sometimes when we get nervous with a conversation that feels uncomfortable, we jump straight into the details, right? Jump straight into, hey, I know this is going to be a hard conversation, or like, I don't know if you're ready for this. Just start with gratitude. Just say, hey, you know what? I've loved working with you guys. And I'm really excited about all the wins that we've had. And then you can list off some results that you've seen over working with them that have been really positive. We like to start the conversation feeling positive, reminding them of the great relationship, thanking them for their business. So first step, start with gratitude.
Yeah. Second thing is you want to just be very point blank with it. Hey, as of this date, our rate is going from this to this. And say it. Like you want to say it. What you don't want to do is scoot around it. Because hard conversations, what is a very helpful strategy in hard conversations is to enter empathetically, enter with gratitude, and then just say the thing right off the bat. And then you can spend the rest of the time explaining the reasons for that. Rather than trying to explain reasons for something they don't know is coming. I'm sure there's comparables in like personal life on like where you want to just kind of say the thing and then start building off of it. But having a price raising conversation, this is one of the ones where you just want to say, hey, we just love that we've been doing business together. We want to honor your business. Thank you so much for being a client. Just want to let you know our prices are going from blank to blank on this date. And that then gets you into step number 3, which is where you explain why. You have to rationalize in some way why your price is actually going up, right?
Yeah.
So explaining why, you already talked about this, but there's a couple ways to explain why. There's only really a couple ways why you should be raising your prices in the first place.
Be honest.
And you want to be honest, right? You want to actually tell them why. And all three of these ways are important for somebody to understand, because if they don't understand this, it's going to cause some kinks in your relationship. So the first one is obviously, well, hey, the price is going up because we've added a ton of value. When we first started working together, we were only shooting for you in this way, which was giving you this type of content. And all the rest of our content that we're giving to our other clients now looks like this. And we really want to catch you guys up to speed. Want to make sure you guys are getting the max amount of value. So we were adding value to what we were actually delivering on. Therefore, the price is going up, right? That is adding value. Or, hey, we're going from a package where we're just delivering 12 reels and 8 photos every month on a social package. All of our packages are now moving towards an actual business model where we're delivering all the content, but we're also managing all the content and managing social media accounts for all of our clients as well. So hence why the price is going up. We're going to start taking over your socials. Is that something you want to do, right? Talk about the value going up.
Yeah. And so you want to talk about the value. You also want to talk, again, if actually like inflation is a real thing, a real part of why you're actually raising your prices, that's a really great way to have the conversation. It's blaming it on inflation. That is true. It's more expensive to hire models than it ever has been before. It's more expensive to buy things, to get manufacturing done for props that you need, all of that kind of stuff. Clients will understand that. Whether they'll be happy about it, that's up to them, but that is the truth. So if that's another aspect of you explaining why, then again, that's an important thing to be able to lean into.
And then the last one, the other reason why you actually have like a very good reason to raise your prices, and if you ever need to talk about this with a client, it's just that demand has gone up. You need to be very honest about that. Hey, when we started working with you, our demand was in a way where we could take on clients like you guys at that price. And I just need to be very honest with you. Our demand has gone way up. Therefore, the cost of working with us has also gone up. That way we can make sure that we are giving our time, and our time is valued in a way where we can give our time to the respective clients that are paying us. And we have to charge the right amount of money for that, because if we're charging not enough money, it then causes us to have to split our focus too much. And then the clients that are onboarding, with us to try and get good results, we can't get them the results they're wanting. Therefore, if we just charge a little bit more, we can not split our focus, make sure we can give them the focus they deserve, get them the results they deserve. So anyways, I just want to let you know our demand has really gone up. Therefore, all of our new clients are on at this rate. And so we're going to be bumping you from here to here, right? So just to recap those, the 3 different times that you are very worthy of raising your prices. Demand has gone up, inflation has ripped, and prices of your expenses are just gone way up in order to make stuff happen, in order to get clients outcomes, right? Models, softwares you use, the gear you're having to use, whatever it might be, just the cost of living. If you haven't raised your prices in a long time, your salary has gone up, right? And then the third one, which is probably the most important one, is just you are adding a ton of value. You're adding a ton of value, new value to your clients. Therefore, you can raise your prices. So once you actually explain why the price is then going up, the question now is, how do you transition to make sure that this conversation ends well?
Yes.
Right? And this is where you want to honor someone's loyalty. You want to give them some type of a loyal incentive. This is something Christy and I do with every single client we ever raise prices on that we want to keep.
That I was going to say, if you want to keep working with them.
There's 2 ways this conversation goes. Just to give you again, recap where we are in this pricing conversation. We have just started with gratitude. We thanked them for their business. We have now shared the new rate, talked about what their price is going from blank price to blank price for the project or per month for whatever it is. And now we've talked about the third piece, which is why we are raising our rates. The fourth piece is you now want to either incentivize them for their loyalty to try and get them to hang around, or you just want to point blank say, hey, and that's what the rate is going to. Do you still want to work with us? And if it's a client that you do not really care to work with, and you're like, I'd actually be totally fine if they walked, well, then say your rate exactly how it is, your new rate.
Skip this next step.
Skip this step and let them decide if they want to continue to work for you, right? Work with you. So, however, on the other side of that, though, if it's a client you really want and you want to keep working with them.
You don't want to lose them.
You want to incentivize them for their loyalty. So what this looks like is you probably want to explain to them, this is what we do every single time. Our new rate is blank. So I'm going to use some numbers here. Let's say we actually had this happen with us in the past 3 months. Hey, normally we've been shooting for you. We've been having $10,000 campaign budgets for these campaigns, these seasonal campaigns we're doing. We've been doing them for 10 grand, but the value's gone up and inflation has really ripped, and we just cannot afford to keep the quality that you guys are looking for and that we want to deliver on for that price. It's just been so difficult, especially with sourcing models that are high quality, locations and permits. So our new rate has gone up to $14,000 for this. However, because we really, really appreciate your business, we'd love to bump you up to 12 rather than 14 and incentivize you guys, as we really do enjoy working with you. And we want to honor your business and thank you for your business.
This is like grandfathered in pricing talk, right? And
not grandfathers in like it's locked forever, but like, hey, we respect that you've been a grandfather type client.
Exactly. So giving people that, it's like it's almost like not a ghost offer, because that is truly your new price. You don't want to lie and say, oh, it's actually this when it's not. But it really does help someone to feel like they are getting a deal. And you do want to honor people's loyalty. Like that is a massive part of business.
100%.
Like they took a chance on you when you were the $500 client, and you want to honor that. So quote unquote grandfathered pricing in is a big thing. Another one that I think is also great, especially if you're going from like a low price, like $500, and you're trying to get people up to like $1,500 or something like that, and you really love working with them. This is one, if you only really love working with them, you can comp an upgraded package. So let's say you've got like 3 packages. You've got one at $1,500, you got one at like $2,250, and then you got one at like $3,000. You can say, hey, because you've been such a loyal client, I would love our new base price is $1,500 for our lowest package. I will give you the second package for the cheapest, the price of the most cost-effective package.
So I'm going to give you the 2,200 package, the 2,250 or whatever that is, but I'm going to give it to you for the price of 1,500, but all the value from the 2,250 package.
Exactly.
That is a phenomenal way to again honor clients and incentivize them to stay around. That you really want to continue working with.
Or you can like pick off certain like value adds or some add-ons. Like, hey, I know normally we were doing 3 reels and 10 images. We'll just like bump on like an extra reel or 2 a month or something like that. You can always add little things like that. And another thing that you should make sure you always do with clients, especially if they're loyal clients, is give them lead time. Hey,
100%.
this price bump is not going to happen until 2 months. So the next month, this month and next month, you will be at the rate that we agreed on before. But after that, in September, we're going to go up to this price. Be
you
super
want to
clear.
incentivize them with some time, right?
Exactly.
Which gives them some stability. So
Yeah.
a couple examples of this. We just briefly talked about them, but so Christy, if you had a client that was on for $500 a month, let's say it was a retainer package for $500 a month, you were shooting 10 photos a month for a smaller brand. And the brand's been growing. They've been loving working with you. And you've taken on a bunch of other clients. You are so busy. You're now like, gosh, like I don't even feel like I have time for that $500 client because I'm so focused on the clients that are paying me $3,000 a month for my photo packages. How do you take that $500 client from $500 to like a baseline of $1,500? How do you triple the price?
Yeah.
What would you be saying? What would that conversation look like?
Yeah. I think it's really important to honor them. Like someone who got on with you at the very beginning, that is like an important person, right? Like that person you probably maybe wouldn't be at the spot you wanted to be in if that person didn't take a chance on you when you had zero industry trust build, right? So I would first of all always start with a lot of gratitude for people like that. I think sometimes people get frustrated because they're like, oh, they're my $500 client, and like you get all angry and like stirred up about it, but make sure that you really, really thank them and be open about that. Be like, hey, I really appreciate you guys. Like the fact that you took a chance on me, like that is a great way to start a conversation because then there's just so much goodwill built there. And then I would just be honest and be like, hey, my business has grown a lot. The results we're giving, especially if you've got a $500 client, they probably were with you when your edits were terrible. They probably were with you when your scripting was awful.
Yeah,
they probably were with you during some dark times of your results. And so honoring that and saying, I really appreciate you riding that out with me, then leads into, as you have seen, we've continued to build out better systems and more value and just better results for your company. That's something I want to continue to do. Right now, my starting packages for new clients is at this. I really appreciate you guys.
It's at $2,500.
It's at $2,500 or $1,500 or whatever it ends up being. That currently is our starting price, and we have loved working with you, and we really want to honor that. And so then I would probably do a package upgrade or do something like that and offer them something like that. But I'd be very clear just saying, hey, the value of what we are doing has continued to arise. And so we need to make sure that we are not over extending ourselves, serving a bunch of different clients at this lower rate, but instead we make time for the people we really want to invest in, and we really want to invest in you. And I would make sure you say that. Make sure we really want to invest in you and we really want to build into XYZ in the future. And this is where I would also get really particular about the future vision you see for what you want to help create in that business. Like, hey, we're really trying to get X, Y, Z, very results driven for them, and just talk through that, but then just be confident and just be like, I would love to do this. I would love to continue working with you. Again, the price raise is going to happen for another 2 months. Just wanted to let you know. Can we continue working together? Which package would you like to choose? And just let the ball be in their court. And if they are a $500 client, they might actually go, okay, well, if we have 2 months until this price raise happens, maybe we can shift things around in our budget. Maybe we can do X, Y, and Z, like try to make something happen with you. But if they can't afford it, then you just say, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being a part of my business journey, and then let them go, which we'll talk about letting go clients later. But that is how I would handle a $500 client trying to get into a $1,500. Lots of emotion, lots of gratitude, all that kind of stuff. Joey, if someone's going from $4,250 to $4,800, it's not that big of a price raise, but it is going to be very effective for their business. Like I think of one of our mastermind grads, Avery. She's servicing a lot of great clients in Northern California in the brand space. And I have had conversations with her where she's been like, it's just frustrating because I feel like I'm dishing out a lot of money in expenses and it's eating up my package costs. Like, what do I do? How do I have that price raise conversation? Do I just kind of eat it and go, it's only, $600 or whatever? How does someone have that conversation?
Yeah, if you've got a monthly retainer for photo work, video work, design work, and you're trying to go from like $4,000 a month to like $4,850, right? So it's not a triple price raise. You're not doubling the rate. It's just going up 10%, 15%, 20%. How do you have that conversation? Well, you just need to say to them, hey, look, this is what we're signing new clients on at. I really want to make sure we still have time to service you guys the right way. And I also want to make sure we have enough money to pay for the expenses that make these shoots happen. So example, like models have gone up, location permits, like the quality of work we're doing is demanding of higher expensed people or higher expensed expenses. So because of that, all of our new clients are coming on at like $5,000 a month. I would love to honor your business and thank you for being with us. So as of 2 months from now, the effective rate is going from $4,000 to $4,850, and we can't wait to keep working with you. Don't say, is that okay? Just, we can't wait to keep working with you.
Yep.
And if they come back then and say, hey, we can't do that, then you need to make a really smart decision. 2 different ways. You either walk and you lose the client. And for some of you, you might need to lose a few clients. And losing a client that is low is actually a great thing long-term, because down the road, you can replace them with a client that is going to pay you more. And that can actually be a great thing. But in this scenario, if you are going from $4,000 to $4,850 and they don't want to do it and you're going to lose them over that process, you are missing out on effectively $850 a month, which over the span of 12 months is just over $9,000, $9,600 plus. So it's a substantial amount of money. But if you lost that entire client, you're actually looking at losing almost $50,000 a year to your business model. So what I would try and do is really work with them. Hey, this is what our clients are at. You can't do $4,850. We really do need to bump you up. Could we do $4,850, but we can increase the value a little bit here. I'd maybe try and start there. I'd give them a little bit of a value increase if they reject your first price raise. And then you just got to work with them and figure out, because it's a very tricky thing. And this is where it gets nerve-wracking. The cost of replacing a client, meaning marketing and selling to find a new client that's worth $50,000 a year, is potentially, but it's also potentially more costly than dropping the rate to like $4,500 in negotiating with them. So it's always important to consider those things.
And you can always go.
It's a very, very delicate situation, but you want to start with gratitude, explain the value and why the price is going up. Here's where the value increase is. Here's our demand. And we really want to make sure we still have the focus to serve you at the highest level so we can guarantee the results that we are currently guaranteeing you. And because of that, here's the new price.
Yeah, I think you can absolutely negotiate. I think you can also negotiate lower deliverables. Like, hey, I know that if this is your top line budget, like we can do X amount of deliverables to make up for that gap, which is really important. So, so those are the 5 steps. The last one is just ending with positivity, like ending with positive, just like, hey, so excited about the future, so excited about working with you guys. Can't wait to do X, Y, Z. And those are the 5 steps. So number 1 is start with gratitude. Make sure you lead with thankfulness and lead with wins to remind them about what you're doing for them and the results you're getting. The second one is just share the new rate with confidence. Share your new prices in a confident way, not asking for permission, not apologizing, but just laying it out there. Then you move into why it is what it is. Are you adding new value? Is there inflation actually happening in there? Has your demand gone up? Is your business growing? Make sure you explain your why openly and honestly. And then you can potential optional step, add a loyalty incentive for the clients you really want to keep. And then last is just end with positivity. So end with just where you're excited about the business growing with them.
Yeah. So this really boils down to a couple things, guys. If you were to ask me, Joey, you've been doing this for 11 years now, being self-employed, running a creative business, photo, video, brand building. What is like the simplest thing that I need to think about when I am approaching a price raising conversation with a client? It really boils down to these 3 things. Number 1, do not fear it, okay? If you fear it, you're going to get yourself into more trouble. You're going to keep kicking the can down the road, and it's only going to become more of a difficult conversation. Number 2, you really got to make sure that you have a clear strategy on how you want to talk about the price raise. Why is it happening? When is it happening? What can they expect, right? Clear strategy with really clear communication, meaning you're just saying it as it is. You're telling them what's happening, and you're being super clear, empathetic, but like authoritative on, I really appreciate the business, but here's what is happening. And last but not least, you have to be confident. Confidence breeds confidence, okay? You will have a company, a bride, a business you're working with respect you to the amount you respect yourself.
Yes.
If you do not come off as someone who respects yourself, respects what you charge, respects how you work, respects what when you say something, if it actually is going to happen, right? Versus, oh, he just said it, but he always says that number and then he doesn't stick with it. So don't ever take Joey on his first number. Like, are you a person that when you say something, people actually hear you say it and they go, I'm going to take him at his word. I'm going to take her at her word. So confidence breeds confidence. The more you respect yourself, the more people are also going to reflect that respect back onto you. How you see yourself is how clients will see you. Okay. So that is so important, guys. If you can do those 3 things, do those 3 things. Do not fear raising your rates. Have a clear strategy and super clear communication plan. Don't kick the can down the road. Just come out right out of the gates and talk about it when you know you need to. And last but not least, have super, super confidence and respect yourself throughout the process, and they are going to respect you back. That is a very, very important thing. And the last one, I'll add a little bonus. Don't forget you're in the service industry. You are a service provider. You are serving your clients. So if it is really a client that you do want to hang around, serve them. Find a way to create a win-win. I was on a conversation today talking about price, and the whole price, negotiation starts to come up about raising prices and all that. And this just came out of my mouth and came out of our mouths as we were talking. We're like, hey, like, whatever we need to do, we're going to find a win-win. Like, we want to find something that's going to work for you guys and work for us. Let me tell you why this is going to work for us. Let me explain how the value has gone up, how the added values happen. Our demand is at this capacity right now. Like, explain things, be really, really clear, and make sure you still do have an empathetic side to you where you're trying to create a great win-win, because you are in the service-based industry. You are serving your clients. So this stuff is all super important, guys. It gets easier to do. Doesn't mean it's still not nerve-wracking sometimes, but it does get easier. The stakes just tend to get higher as your career goes because you're dealing with bigger amounts of money.
And if you're sitting here going, wait, I'm really frustrated because none of those 3 things are happening for me to be able to raise my prices. Like, I'm not in demand, right? Like, that is not happening for me. Or maybe you're thinking, okay, but if I have this conversation of trying to raise this $500 client or even this like $5,000 client and try to get them bumped up, I don't feel confident in replacing them because everything I have comes through referrals, or it comes from just people coming through the door and I have no idea how they got there. I don't feel the confidence of replacing my current clientele, whether it's a low price or whether it's not an ideal client. If that feels insecure to you, I want to encourage you to really dive into like the business side of your business. Like, it can be easy sometimes to just be like, hey, I'm just focused on the creative. I'm just going to try to wow everyone with my creativity, but that goes away right? Especially when price conversation comes up, the awe of the creative side starts to dwindle and this business strategy really comes into play. And so if you feel insecure about how do you build that side of your business, there's different things you can do. Like we were literally just on, this was now a couple days ago, maybe it was last night. Was it last night? Our workshop for the funnel, our social
when we recorded
funnel
it.
workshop was that was
as of time of recording this podcast. Yeah, last night it was Thursday night. Yeah,
yeah. So now
which was awesome, by the way.
But it was incredible, you guys. And what was so fun was watching people go at the beginning of the call. We had 10 creatives on, super cool people, really talented, tons of creativity, and it was really cool because they were talking. They were saying, I really want to do X in my business, or I really want to get to this financial goal, but right now, like, I just am not sure how to get those eyeballs on my business. And so we literally spent 2 hours building funnels with them, showing how they could attract ideal clients, nurture them towards a sale, and actually sell in a really good way. And it was such a fun conversation because you could just start to see everyone gaining so much confidence around creating these leads for their business, and to be able to actually feel like growing their business was in their control rather than the control of the economy or the algorithm or whatever have you. They actually got to have a lot of confidence in that. And so if you're someone who's like, I really want to have confidence in that, I don't really feel like I have confidence in that now, we got this free podcast that you can listen to. We got tons of episodes about how to attract ideal clients into your business, sell them, how to price them, all of that kind of stuff. We got a free pricing calculator if that's something that you feel like you're dealing with right now. We got a lot of just like free stuff that you can consume. If you're like, I want a little bit of deeper support, I want a deeper level of support, we run something called the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind. We only run it twice a year, and the next one is coming this fall. So it's going to be launching in September. We're so excited. It's a 6-week mastermind where you get in a group of about 35 other creatives and us, and we walk you through a 6-week experience, helping you build a 6-figure foundation for your creative business so that you can just do what you love and that you can actually focus on the creative, not focus on the creative side, but focus on the business side for 6 full weeks with a bunch of other people who just get it so that you can then feel like you're in control of your business rather than your business controlling you.
It's a little business makeover for your business.
Business makeover.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're going to give your business a facelift, literally. So you're going to come out of it looking a lot better and making more money. So anyways, guys, if you want some more info on that, go to creativerise.com. You can read all about the 6-week mastermind, watch a ton of testimonials. We've had over 400 graduates go through this over the last 6 years. So there's a lot of people talking about how it has helped them, and I'm sure you can find yourself in some of their stories. So go to creativerise.com. If you want to join the waitlist, you can join the waitlist there. That is going to be the first access to apply, which is awesome. So you definitely want to get on the waitlist if you have any interest at all. So anyways, guys, hope you are having a great day. This podcast was super fun. If you loved it, let us know. Share it with a friend. And we're probably going to do some more pricing podcasts soon because this is just such a big topic that we always come back to time and time again on the podcast here.
Yeah.
200 plus episodes, and we have done a lot on pricing. So
yes,
it's always something that we love to chat about and that a lot of people request and need help with. So,
and if you have a request for a topic, we love when people DM us and ask us to do certain episodes. So if you've got a question, just DM us at Creative Rise. We'd love to hear it and potentially do an episode on it.
We'll catch you later, guys. Thanks for being here. See you next week.
Bye, guys.